Hey there, game developers. We need to talk about the Activision Blizzard lawsuit. We're going to be talking about the contents of the complaint filed by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, and we're going to be talking about Activision Blizzard's response to the lawsuit and why things are so exceptionally bad there. This video is going to cover some serious subject matter, such as sexual harassment, misogyny, and suicide. If that sounds like a bad video for you to watch right now, then now is a good time to switch to a different video. I have included some useful advice and resources for victims at the end of this video and in the video description. If you're not in a good place right now, please check out the resources from Take This, which is a mental health advocacy organization with a focus on game industry and the gaming community. Right, first, we're going to look at the important points of the lawsuit. I'm not going to read the full lawsuit here, and we're not even going to read these points in order. We're going to focus on a few of the most important points, and I'm going to post a link to a PDF so you can read it for yourself. There are a lot more claims in the full complaint. I am really only focusing on the most damning points of the document. Point 48. In a tragic example of harassment that defendants allowed to fester in their offices, a female employee committed suicide while on a company trip due to a sexual relationship that she had been having with her male supervisor. The male supervisor was found by police to have brought a butt plug and lubricant on this business trip. Another employee confirmed that the deceased female may have been suffering from other sexual harassment at work prior to her death. Specifically, at a holiday party before her death, male coworkers were alleged to be passing around a picture of the deceased's vagina. Point 47. In a blatant example of the defendant's refusal to deal with a harasser because of his seniority or position, Alex Afrasiabi, the former senior creative director of World of Warcraft at Blizzard Entertainment, was permitted to engage in blatant sexual harassment with little to no repercussions. During BlizzCon, Alex would hit on female employees, tell them that he wanted to marry them, he would attempt to kiss them, and put his arms around them. This was in plain view of other male employees, including supervisors, who had to intervene and pull him off of the female employees. Alex was so known to engage in harassment of females that his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite after alleged rapist Bill Cosby. Alex would also call females derogatory names at company events, and his conduct was known to Blizzard Entertainment's executives, who took no effective remedial measures. J. Allen Brack, the president of Blizzard Entertainment, allegedly had multiple conversations with Alex about his drinking and that he had been too friendly towards female employees at company events, but only gave him a mild reprimand in response to these incidents. Subsequently, Alex continued to make unwanted advances towards female employees, including grabbing a female employee's hand and inviting her to his hotel room and groping another woman. Point 49. The problems of harassment and discrimination extended to, and at a minimum, were known to those at the top. The defendant's former chief technology officer was observed by employees groping inebriated female employees at company events and was known for making hiring decisions based on female applicants' looks. An employee complained to Blizzard Entertainment president J. Allen Brack in early 2019 that employees were leaving due to sexual harassment and sexism. Specifically, this employee noted that women on the BattleNet team were subjected to disparaging comments, the environment was akin to working in a frat house, and that women who were not huge gamers, core gamers, and not into the party scene were excluded and treated as outsiders. Point 50. Female employees had raised further complaints to various human resources personnel about the discrimination they faced, including, but not limited to, complaints about unfair pay and assignments, male coworkers belittling them or minimizing their contributions, the male counterparts being promoted quickly despite their lack of seniority. Similarly, female employees also complained of the harassment they suffered, including that male coworkers groped them, the male supervisors asked them on dates, and of other unwanted harassment. Defendants failed to take a reasonable action in response to these complaints. Such lack of effective remedial measures was not surprising, given defendants' own internal investigation to their human resources unit noted that there was a big lack of trust and that HR is not held in high regard. Many employees also noted that their complaints were not kept confidential. You don't need me to tell you how terrible all of that was, and that's really just the most offensive ones that I saw in the list. There are a lot more on that document, but the next thing I want to do is I want to look at the official responses to the news about this lawsuit being published. These responses are also awful, and I want you to pay attention to the details, especially the things not being said. Now you'll notice that these official statements avoid saying exactly what they're talking about. Now, we will know from context that they're talking about sexual harassment at Activision Blizzard. But they will not say that sexual harassment happened. They'll mention the bad emotions they're feeling, but they won't admit to any specific actions taken by one of their employees that caused these negative emotions. They might even suggest that these negative emotions were caused by the allegations or by the lawsuit. The public statements are carefully crafted to avoid harming the company's legal defense by admitting any form of guilt. They want to look apologetic to their fans and their employees without admitting to doing anything wrong. As an example of this, I want to start with one of the more recent public statements, which was allegedly published by the World of Warcraft team, but it follows the company's legal defense strategy. This statement is corporate-approved damage control messaging. It was clear from our team's conversations that we wanted to put forth a statement that was representative of the World of Warcraft team's sentiments. We asked all members of our team to send us their suggestions and feedback on how best to address the community, and this is the result. The past days have been a time of reflection for the World of Warcraft team, spent in conversation and contemplation, full of sadness, pain, and anger, but also hope and resolve. As we heed the brave women who have come forward to share their experiences, we stand committed to taking the actions necessary to ensure we are providing an inclusive, welcoming, and safe environment both for our team and for our players in Azeroth. Those of us in leadership understand that it is not our place to judge when we have achieved our goals, but rather for our team and our community to let us know when we still have more to do. While we turn to our team for guidance in our internal work to protect marginalized groups and hold accountable those who threaten them, we also want to take immediate action in Azeroth to remove references that are not appropriate for our world. This work has been underway, and you will be seeing several such changes both to Shadowlands and WoW Classic in the coming days. We know that in order to rebuild trust, we must earn it with our actions in the weeks and months to come. But we go forward knowing that we share the same vision as our community about creating a place where people of all genders, ethnicities, sexual orientations, and backgrounds can thrive and proudly call home. Signed, the World of Warcraft team. Alright, do you see what I mean about avoiding saying anything specific? They said they wanted to make a statement about the team's sentiments. Well, the team's sentiments about what? Why was the team reflecting over the last week? Why did they feel those negative emotions? And what kind of experiences did those brave women share? The statement doesn't say that anyone was sexually harassed. Removing NPCs named after abusive employees is a nice symbolic gesture, but it's nothing more than a performance if real action isn't taken to put a stop to the abuse. I would rather the women that work at Blizzard be safe at work rather than be brave at work. And statements that avoid accountability like this make it clear that women are not safe at Activision Blizzard. Up next, we have the official statement released by Rob Kostich, the president of Activision. Some of you may have seen the allegations reported by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing in California. These allegations are deeply disturbing. Let me be clear, there is a zero tolerance for this type of behavior in our workplace or frankly in our society. We, as a company, take every allegation seriously and investigate all claims. When wrongdoing is found, those responsible are held accountable, and we will continue to do so. Each of you deserves to be treated with dignity, equality, and respect at all times. The behaviors described are not reflective of our Activision company values, especially champion, DE&I, and it's the people. Our values are not just words on a page. They are at the core of who we are day to day and who we aspire to be for years to come. As per always, if you need to talk to anyone, please reach out to your manager, HR partner. You can find this information by looking yourself up in the People Finder here, a trusted leader, or me. You can also check the Way to Play portal on the Hub for more resources. Please join me in ensuring that we continue to consistently cultivate an inclusive environment where everyone feels respected, safe, and valued. Anything less than that is unacceptable to me. So here we have an executive who not only avoids saying what the company was accused of, but adamantly denies those unspecified allegations. Now, he doesn't go quite as far as the next official statement by Fran. Fran has been Activision Blizzard's Executive Vice President for Corporate Affairs and their Chief Compliance Officer since March, so she's been there about 4 months now. In her email, she will talk about how Activision Blizzard is a wonderful place to work at with no problems. As the executive sponsor of the ABK Employee Women's Network and our Chief Compliance Officer, I wanted to reach out to you. I know this has been a difficult week for many of us. A recently filed lawsuit presented a distorted and untrue picture of our company, including factually incorrect, old and out-of-context stories, some from more than a decade ago. The Activision companies of today, the Activision companies that I know, are great companies with good values. When I joined the executive leadership team, I was certain I was joining a company where I would be valued, treated with respect, and provided opportunities equal to those afforded to the men at the company. For me, this has been true during my time. As a leader, I am committed to making sure that the experience I have is the same as the rest of the organization. We have a leadership team that is committed to these principles in every way. I am proud to be part of a company that takes a hardline approach to inappropriate or hostile work environments and sexual harassment issues. Our Speak Up campaign reinforces our zero tolerance for retaliation against those who do speak up. We've made significant investments to foster our inclusive behaviors and to reflect great diversity within our leadership teams, including investing in and strengthening our DE&I employee networks, creating global networks to bring together the efforts in all our business units, and the introduction of executive sponsors, introducing learning and development programs including inclusive hiring training, amplifying internal programs such as the Way to Play Heroes and the recurring Speak Up campaign, reinforcing channels for employees to report violations, including the ASK list, introducing an employee relations team dedicated to investigating employee concerns, continuing to require all employees to take equality and diversity training, including anti-harassment training, and have done so for many years. We put tremendous effort into creating fair compensation policies that reflect our commitment to equal opportunity. We review compensation regularly and feel confident that we pay all employees fairly for equal or substantially similar work. We take proactive steps to ensure that pay and advancement are driven by merit. We reward performance, and we conduct extensive anti-discrimination trainings, including for those who are part of the compensation process. We work at a company that truly values equality and fairness. Rest assured that leadership is committed to continuing to maintain a safe, fair, and inclusive workplace. We cannot let egregious actions of others and a truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit damage our culture of respect and equal opportunity for all employees. We aspire in our company to do great things in our games, in our impact on society, and in our work environment. We continue to hold firm to our principles and invest, as we have in the past, the resources to ensure quality opportunities for all employees. We remain committed as a leadership team to doing what is right. I have plenty of criticism for the gaslighting going on in that email, the absolute denial of every claim of every victim of sexual harassment at the company, but I'm going to let the developers of Blizzard speak for themselves on this one. The developers of Activision Blizzard are on strike right now, and over 2,000 current and former Blizzard employees have signed the following open letter in response to the garbage public statements by corporate leadership. To the leaders of Activision Blizzard, we, the undersigned, agree that the statements from Activision Blizzard and their legal counsel regarding the DFEH lawsuit, as well as the subsequent internal statements from Fran, are abhorrent and insulting to all that we believe our company should stand for. To put it clearly and unequivocally, our values as employees are not accurately reflected in the words and actions of our leadership. We believe these statements have damaged our ongoing quest for equality inside and outside of our industry, categorizing the claims that have been made as distorted and in many cases false, creates a company atmosphere that disbelieves victims. It also casts doubt on our organization's ability to hold abusers accountable for their actions and to foster a safe environment for victims to come forward in the future. These statements make it clear that our leadership is not putting our values first. Immediate corrections are needed from the highest levels of our organization. Our company executives have claimed that actions will be taken to protect us, but in the face of legal action and the troubling official responses that followed, we no longer trust our leaders will place employee safety above their own interests. To claim this is a truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit, well, seeing so many current and former employees speak out about their own experiences regarding harassment and abuse, it's simply unacceptable. We call for official statements that recognize the seriousness of these allegations and demonstrate compassion for victims of harassment and assault. We call on Fran Townsend to stand by her word, to step down as executive sponsor of the ABK Employee Women's Network as a result of the damaging nature of her statement. We call on the executive leadership team to work with us on new and meaningful efforts that ensure employees, as well as our community, have a safe place to speak out and to come forward. We stand with all our friends, teammates, and colleagues, as well as the members of our dedicated community who have experienced mistreatment or harassment of any kind. We will not be silenced, we will not stand aside, and we will not give up until the company we love is a workplace we can all feel proud to be a part of again. We will be the change. Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision, managed to avoid making any public statements about this lawsuit until after this open letter came out. Activision's stock price went into a free fall on Tuesday morning, and Bobby Kotick's internal email was published as a press release on the investor relations page of the Activision website Tuesday night. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to discuss a particularly important detail that Bobby left out. This has been a difficult and upsetting week. I want to recognize and thank all who have come forward in the past and in recent days. I so appreciate your courage. Every voice matters, and we will do a better job of listening now and in the future. Our initial responses to the issues we face together and to your concerns were, quite frankly, tone deaf. It is imperative that we acknowledge all perspectives and experiences and respect the feelings of those who have been mistreated in any way. I am sorry that we did not provide the right empathy and understanding. Many of you have told us that active outreach comes from caring so deeply about the company, that so many people have reached out and shared thoughts, suggestions, and highlighted opportunities for improvement is a powerful reflection of how you care for our communities of colleagues and players, and for each other. We are taking swift action to be the compassionate, caring company that you came to work for and ensure a safe environment. There is no place anywhere at our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind. We will do everything possible to make sure that together we improve and build the kind of inclusive workplace that is essential to foster creativity and inspiration. I have asked the law firm Wilmer Hale to conduct a review of our policies and procedures to ensure that we have and maintain best practices to promote a respectful and inclusive workplace. This work will begin immediately. The Wilmer Hale team will be led by Stephanie Avakian, who is a member of the management team at Wilmer Hale and was most recently the director of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's Division of Enforcement. We encourage anyone with an experience you believe violates our policies in any way made you uncomfortable in the workplace to use any of our many existing channels for reporting or to reach out to Stephanie. She and her team at Wilmer Hale will be available to speak with you on a confidential basis and can be reached at, I'm not going to repeat her email or phone number here. Your outreach will be kept confidential. Of course, no retaliation will be tolerated. We are committed to long-lasting change. Effective immediately, we'll be taking the following actions. 1. Employee support. We will continue to investigate each and every claim and will not hesitate to take decisive action. To strengthen our capabilities in this area, we are adding additional senior staff and other resources both to the compliance team and the employee relations team. 2. Listening sessions. We know that many of you have inspired ideas on how to improve our culture. We will be creating safe spaces moderated by third parties for you to speak out and share areas for improvement. 3. Personnel changes. We are immediately evaluating managers and leaders across the company. Anyone found to have impeded the integrity of our processes for evaluating claims and imposing appropriate consequences will be terminated. 4. Hiring practices. Earlier this year, I sent an email requiring all hiring managers to ensure they have a diverse candidate slate for all open positions. We will be adding compliance resources to ensure that our hiring managers are in fact adhering to this directive. 5. In-game changes. We have heard input from employee and player communities that some of our in-game content is inappropriate. We're removing that content. Your well-being remains my priority, and I will spare no company resource ensuring that our company has the most welcoming, comfortable, and safe culture possible. You have my unwavering commitment that we will improve our company together, and we will be the most inspiring, inclusive entertainment company in the world. Yours sincerely, Bobby. Kotaku was really close in nailing exactly what's going on here, but the big thing is not that WilmerHale is a union-busting firm. Bobby Kotick did not hire WilmerHale to bust a union or to make things better for employees at Activision Blizzard. Stephanie Avakian is a criminal defense attorney that specializes in white-collar crime. She is the chair of the Securities and Financial Services Department at WilmerHale. To quote from her bio on the WilmerHale website, she leads the firm's Securities and Financial Services Department in counseling and defending public companies, investment banks, asset management firms, accounting firms, board of directors, and individual executives through the challenges of government investigations. To quote from the exact same website advertising the securities litigation service that she manages, we are recognized nationally for our defense of major class actions, having secured the early dismissal of countless cases and defeated class certification or obtained summary judgment in many others. Her job is to defend the company from the victims of sexual harassment and discrimination. And Bobby Kotick is no stranger to sexual harassment lawsuits. In 2007, Bobby Kotick was sued for failure to prevent sexual harassment and wrongful termination. He allegedly fired a flight attendant on his private jet when she complained about sexual harassment from the pilot. Kotick's lawyer allegedly advised him to settle out of court, and Kotick allegedly refused. It didn't go well for Kotick, and he ended up paying his alleged victim $675,000. Bobby Kotick then allegedly tried to get out of paying his lawyer, and some damning statements came out of that arbitration with the lawyer. I keep saying allegedly here because Kotick allegedly said that he would ruin his alleged victim and her attorney and see to it that his alleged victim would never work again. I came into this video hoping to be able to create a guide on how game developers and leaders can combat toxic workplace culture and combat sexual harassment in the workplace. But after reading the full complaint and all of the official responses, I don't think Activision Blizzard can be fixed. This kind of toxic, dysfunctional workplace culture, it's created at the top. Activision Blizzard can't be fixed by the same rotten leadership that created this problem. The DFEH tried to work with Blizzard to solve this problem without a lawsuit. This lawsuit is their last resort. J. Allen Brack, the president of Blizzard, was named in the lawsuit as an alleged protector of abusers. The former chief technology officer was identified in the complaint as an alleged abuser. Brian Bulatow, the chief administrative officer, is the former undersecretary of state. The former State Department Inspector General, Stephen Linick, testified to the House of Representatives in 2018 that Bulatow repeatedly pressed him to ignore potential crimes happening within the department. In my opinion, Fran, the chief compliance officer and Bush-era torture apologist, tried to gaslight the employees into believing that everything was fine. Bobby Kotick, the chief executive officer, allegedly allowed his pilot to sexually harass a flight attendant, allegedly retaliated against her complaints, and allegedly tried to ruin her financially. If the personnel changes mentioned in Bobby Kotick's letter don't include his own termination, along with just about everyone whose job title has the words chief, officer, or president, that Activision Blizzard will remain a corporation where sexual harassment and abuse is protected by leadership, and it will remain a company where women are not safe. If you are the victim of sexual harassment in the workplace, then the standard advice is that you should report the abuse to human resources. But don't assume your employer is going to handle your sexual harassment complaint responsibly. The company can escape liability if you don't report the sexual harassment to them before filing a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And yes, this means that some of the victims at Activision are going to report their harassment to the defense attorney from WilmerHale before filing a complaint with the DFEH. Human resources is not your friend and they're not your ally. HR exists to protect the company from liability. Sometimes they will do the right thing for the wrong reason. Most companies will terminate someone for sexual harassment to avoid this kind of lawsuit. Sometimes, like with Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard, they will instead do everything they can to silence victims and conceal the company's wrongdoing. Blizzard's Human Resources Department is at the center of its problems. This toxic culture was allowed to grow and thrive because the victims must report their abuse to a department that protects abusers from their victims before they can seek help from the state or win a sexual harassment lawsuit against their harasser. This policy of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission allows abusers to avoid accountability for their actions. If you're in the United States, then you need to begin documenting everything once the harassment begins. And that includes your report and correspondence with human resources. Print those emails, save backups, try to keep that correspondence happening in email, and recap every meeting you have in an email to all participants of the meeting that reiterates the key decisions made during that meeting. Not only does that give you a paper trail, but it actually makes it easier to ensure that everyone leaves the meeting with the same understanding of what was discussed. You're going to want this paper trail if you want to file a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. If you have been the victim of sexual harassment at a studio or industry event in the past, and you feel that going public with your story will help other victims or give them the courage to fight back against their abusers, then there are some trustworthy journalists out there that you can reach out to. The one I recommend contacting is Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. His contact info is in the description below. I will probably be releasing a video in the near future talking about dysfunctional teams, toxic workplaces, and how to combat sexual harassment in the workplace. Originally, that was going to be this video, just got really dark, and I wanted to split it out into something else. Anyway, thanks for sticking around to watch this video. I really hope that my next one is on a much lighter subject. If you're interested in more game industry news or analysis about what's happening within the game industry, then please subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and I hope to see you all in my next video.